Hello and welcome back to another Thursday night here at Heroes and Hooligans, where we are playing Gilded Destinies episode 18. And hopefully we're finally going to get to that date night I've been promising you. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of it, so I don't think our players are going to be able to drag 30 minutes of in-game time out to 2 hours of play, but I won't put it past them. Speaking of our players, how's everybody feeling tonight? Y'all ready to play some D&D?
Yeah. I was born ready to play D&D.
Oh, my bad. I thought this was a VTM game. I'm out.
Oh, get out. Shut up.
All right. Well, let's just hop right into it, gang. When we left off last time, our party had gone their separate ways a bit. Coliot and Jillian staying behind at Cornerstone Tower to do a bit of reading, relaxing, and resting, finding new information about the town of Revan and about those who resided below. Zenlin had left after a short rest to head off into town and attempt to find someone to get a little more information of his own. And our darling Reznor, while the others debated the arcane theory of the warding of the tower, quickly rested before rushing off to find Manager Greer and have a little one-on-one discussion prior to their more public meeting later. In all of these meetings and readings and discussions, so far, some understanding has been reached. Now we're going to go to a meeting that begins in assumption and a complete void of understanding. As Zenlin, you leave Cornerstone Tower and walk through town to go and inquire about information that has been very recently given to you without the context to back up its authenticity. How's Zen feeling as he's walking through town?
Zen is probably still going through the flashback images in his mind from the tower, and is probably relatively somber, moving hopefully successfully more on like memory of where he was going earlier than actually looking where he's going. So it might take him a bit longer to get there.
Yeah, I think
kind of lost in thought.
I think Zen's able to put together too, once he arrives, that he's not taken the ideal path, because as you learned last time, the bookstore is actually right, like you're almost neighbors in your new tower.
That works out conveniently.
But the path you take leads out into the center of town. It's kind of like heading downtown to come back towards your house.
Right.
But you head towards the market square town with these flashes of denials and rejections repeating in your head as you move through. And you find yourself at the door to the bookshop. You're at the bottom of the steps that lead up to this sort of 1.5 floor entryway.
Are there any lights on? Like, does it look like they're still open?
Say give me a luck check. See how long it took you to walk over here while you were zoned out.
Okay.
You can tell that the sun is beginning to set, and you know she said that they closed at dusk.
Okay.
So it's
17 out of 20.
17 out of 20. You can see that the sun's beginning to set, but has not set yet. And you see that there are a few lights on, just a few candles clearly burning inside still.
Okay, if there's lights on and it's not quite past dusk, he'll probably just check the door to see if it's open and open it then.
Yeah. You just turn the handle and walk right in. It is open.
Cool. Yeah, he'll walk in and see who he sees at the counter, if the elf woman is still there or if it's the counter lady from before.
You walk in, and once again, you see that the counter is empty on your entrance, with that little handbell sitting on it.
Okay, then he'll walk up and ring it. He's not
Yeah.
wasting a ton of time now that he's here.
Yeah, you are moving with purpose. You walk up, ring this bell, ding, ding, ding. And seconds later, you see again that deep purple mist fill in the space in front of you before sucking itself into the core of the now present high elven woman. Hello, how may I? Oh, back again. Did you decide to come by and pick up some of those scrolls you were offered then?
No, it
Or was
actually
it more of
slipped
the personal
my
matter?
mind. That one. The scrolls honestly kind of slipped our mind right now. But you had mentioned
Understandable with such other things upon it.
a ritual, and it occurred to me that while that information is great, it's not particularly useful to me if I come across an elemental evil out on my travels.
Would you like to make a deal to purchase the workings of it?
What kind of deal?
Well, I could use some coin. I could use some labor.
So a deal, not a pact.
No, not a pact. Well, I mean, the ritual is the pact. You're just, hopefully, in this case, tying it through the crystal, not yourself. Not a pact with me. No, I'm
Okay.
just an elf.
Just an elf. I don't have a ton of coin right now, but I'd be happy to work, or at some point, if you'd be willing to teach me. I've never
Yes.
cast a ritual before.
Yes, I would teach you this. To teach you. Would you want a foundation in ritual magics, or would you just want the rote of how to perform this one?
I mean, I assume it would be better if I had a foundation.
It's always better to have the foundation, but it
And I mean, we'll be here.
is not necessary for this one.
We'll be in town for a while. It doesn't have to happen like overnight. I mean, we just bought land.
It certainly couldn't happen overnight, unfortunately.
So like I'd be okay with working at starting at the beginning. I mean, that's how you learn everything, right? I guess.
Yeah. All right. And she is going to. I'll give you a first lesson in basic ritualism then, for free. Do you have time now?
Yeah,
See if
I'm not doing anything. I don't have any plans tonight.
this will give me a chance to test your metal and see how much to charge. So while she leads you further back into the shop, and as you make your way through the shelves here, you see that they begin to become less like shelves and more like hallways that the walls just happen to hold books. And you make your way deep into a little, basically a small arcane workshop. You can see a magic circle on the floor, a little alchemist slab set up in a corner, an herbalism station. And she's gonna begin to walk you through basic ritual magical principles. Now, you are a sorcerer by trade, an innate caster.
Yep.
So I am going to ask you to make me a Arcana check here. Just flat. The better it is, the more naturally this comes to you, and the less she's going to charge you.
All right. Well, we got an 18.
An 18? Yeah. You're not a savant the way you are with your magics. You know, you're learning this, but the principles of it make sense. And once you've locked them in, you're able to actually begin extrapolating and explaining things for yourself as well from those base principles. That's where we're going to cut for right now from you and head over to Coca-Cola and Jillian. Coca-Cola and Jill, the time fast approaches for the evening for the meeting you've been asked to attend this evening, Coca-Cola. It's about an hour and a half off, 2 hours maybe. You know, it's getting to be about 6:30, 7 o'clock now. And you know that your cousin wanted you there about 9.
Well, Jill, you want to go down to the meadery early and get something to eat? I'm feeling a bit peckish.
Yeah, definitely. Let's head over to the meadery later. Get some food.
Yeah. Sounds
All right.
good. I could use a bit of an afternoon snack, some liquid pork chop, you know?
All right, so are you heading to the tavern here in town first, or are you going to head, take the couple mile walk over to the meadery and then eat there?
If the meadery has food, we might as well just go there and just stay there, be there early or whatever.
You know they have food. It's like work cafeteria prices. It's not great, and it is more expensive than usual.
All right, yeah, screw that. Let's go to the regular tavern first and then go over there for the meeting.
All right. So you just pop into the tavern here in town, and again, you hear instantly people are having a great time this evening. It sounds like there's maybe some people have some parties planned for this evening. The holidays coming up with the wild feasts. And yeah, people seem pretty excited. There's a couple people who seem to be pre-gaming for their party here at the tavern. And you see that there's miner's pie and flatbread on special.
That sounds good. I'm not a picky dwarf.
And you pop up to there's a little host stand here now, you notice. New addition over the past couple days. And you pop up, they're like, all right, can I take your order and then seat you? Minus pie and a flatbread? What about you, Miss? Looks at you, Jillian.
Yeah, I'll try the miner's pie and the flatbread.
All right, sounds good. We've also got a potato leek soup, if you'd like that as well.
Yeah, add that to the side. I'd like to have that too.
Yeah, leek soup.
All right, cool. There we are. And drinks for you. Ale?
Yes, some of them.
Mead.
Just
Yeah, mead's fine.
mead. There we go. How about we can bring a glass of mead out for each of you and a pitcher of ale?
Sure.
Sounds good. And you see she scribbles down this order, hands it to a member of the wait staff passing behind her, and in one smooth motion leads you to your tables. You are seated, and you very quickly notice this is like the busiest you've seen this tavern since you got into town.
Is it a lot of new faces, or is it just like the townsfolk?
It's just the townsfolk for the most part. There's a couple of new faces around, but nobody who looks like they're of note. Just looks kind of like your normal people, like the average person who would be passing through.
All right.
Tradesmen, fur traders, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think if we get to pick our seating, or I would even maybe request whoever's seating us not to put us off in a corner, but to put us somewhere we can people watch.
Yeah, put you like floor seating somewhere in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lean down to this hostess who's been taking care of you. What do you say to her? Do you just want to like ask her to be somewhere out in the middle, or how obvious are you making it to her that you want to be able to snoop on other people?
Oh, I wouldn't say to her that I wanted to snoop. I'd just ask her to put us somewhere in the middle. I like to be able to watch my back and my sides and my front, all of me. I like to be able to see all the way around me.
Cool. Just give me she's gonna seat you somewhere like where you want to be. Give me either persuasion or deception, whichever you feel better is like more Cola's spin on this to try to hide her intentions. Is it something true that you're playing up? Yeah, is it something true? She's not.
Okay.
She is a gnomish woman. Looks to be in about her 30s. Or human. What would pass for 30s is a human.
Well, even with a 3, I got a 15 here. Persuasion.
All right, 15. You don't think she picks up on anything too odd, you know. At worst, she picks up that you're like maybe gonna listen to like maybe you're like, oh, I like overhearing what the tables around me or like what their vibe is, but you're not certain that she even gets that.
Well, that's all right. I just don't. I got to be able to watch all my sides.
Yeah, I gotcha. And you're keeping an eye out. You don't really notice anything out of the ordinary from when you were here a couple hours ago, other than that business picked up pretty quick. But you do think about, you think about the timing and all that. It is right around when a dinner rush would be now.
Yeah. So I guess we'll sit down and wait for him to bring it over. Jill, we ain't had dinner just the two of us in a really long time. This is kind of nice. Not to say I don't like the guys, but it's like bestie time.
She picks up her glass of mead and clings it against yours.
Yeah, I know it's not mimosas and brunch, but heck, I think this might be better than mimosas and brunch. I don't know. That feels a little sacrilegious to say, but I think Coca-Cola thinks it's better.
As you're sitting here. Your food comes out very quickly. You're enjoying your meal. You're having a little one-on-one time with each other.
Yeah,
You've had
tonight
this
you can be
big,
the big spoon.
yeah, and you had this big moment earlier today of Coca-Cola really came clean to you about things that she does not talk about, and that Coca-Cola knows by talking about with someone outside of the family. Like that is a potential death sentence. Like
Yeah.
she played it real light for as big of a secret as that is to be dropping on you. And I think with how well the two of you know each other, I think Jill realizes that maybe not the full extent of how heavily like Coca-Cola understated things, I guess, even with this breach of this breaking moment of honesty. But you recognize there was understatement there.
All I can think about is Resnor's little spoon now. I'm sorry. Oh, God. Here comes the Renlund shipping. Yes. I'd love it. Yeah, so I think we're probably just kind of chilling out and having like a relaxed dinner, knowing Coca-Cola told Jillian that there's a meeting, so one of those like pre-game things that you have before you actually go have the meeting sort of situations.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty good. It's pretty uneventful on Coca-Cola's side, honestly. She's just hungry.
Yeah, is there anything that Jill wants to try to cover while they're here in the tavern? Or should we
Jillian would like to give Coca-Cola a buff since she's going to be going into a meeting. Let's see, what is it called? It's a spell that would enhance her abilities.
I'll also say if there's any other buffs that you would want to throw on, you can save those so you drop them right before she walks up. That way I think you get the most out of the time as well.
Well, it's just a meeting with
Okay.
my cousin. I don't think it's anything too, well, maybe it is. I could be wrong.
Having trouble finding the spell. But yeah, she's going to it's this thing that enhances abilities.
Yeah, it's just
Enhanceability.
enhanceability.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot that when we're using this app that I got to just scroll down. It's not flip pages.
You can select the spell level up top. I think it's a second level spell.
But yeah, you want to drop enhanceability on Coca-Cola right before she goes into her meeting. And which stat did you want to enhance?
I think I'll cast it at 3rd level, and it lasts for an hour. And
okay, so you're
it's
going to do
the
3rd
one
level,
that would,
which means you can hit yourself and Coca-Cola if you wanted to.
okay. Cat's Gray Splendor. Yeah, it would be the Eagle's Splendor. That's the one she's going to want to cast.
What we're going to do here is we're going to time skip forward to 8 o'clock, or closer to 7:50, we'll say. About 10 minutes before Resnor's been requested to appear at the mead hall, and about an hour before Coca-Cola has. Resnor, you are just in the woods outside of the brewery near the mead hall, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You just looped around?
Yeah.
So you come out of the woods and make your way You're just making your way back up to the meat hall itself, correct?
Yeah.
All right. You make your way up to the entrance. And if we could get our above VTT on screen here, I would love that.
Should be there.
Yeah, let me get you guys moved over here. Yep, awesome. As Resnor, you move up to a building that you see is traditional dwarven architecture, made of long felled boughs of trees, with stone and metal supports. And you walk up to the Iron Gut Meat Hall, just back behind the brewery here. You're at the entrance to the door, and you're just able to open it and walk right in if you'd like.
Resnar will walk in and he'll look around and see if he sees Cole's cousin or Greer yet.
Cool. Just walk in and go ahead and give me a perception check as you walk in.
Perception. That's a 6.
A 6, you said?
Yeah.
You don't see them right away. You're looking around, but they're just not here yet. You don't think?
Resnar is gonna just, I guess, kind of like hang out by the front and see if one of them walks through here soon.
All right. You hang out by the front. About 10 minutes pass, and you know it's the time you've been asked to be here, and neither of them has walked in yet. You think maybe it'd be a good idea to either take a walk around and look for them or take another look from where you are.
He'll walk more towards like the middle here, and then he'll take another look.
Cool. I'm going to say do it with advantage.
Oh,
You're not looking to hit a high
good today.
DC here. You're just
12.
You're not looking to hit a high DC here. You're just, looking through a crowded building. So it takes. Oh yeah, you see them. You see them both hanging out down here by the bottom. Bottom. So the southeast side. You see Greer and Dees.
Resnar will head over there, and as he's like walking up, he's gonna be his big goofy self, and, like hold a hand up and wave at him as he walks up.
You hold your hand up and wave, and you see that Cocola's cousin sees you waving, and Resnor, I'm so glad you could make it, and pats the stool next to her. Please sit.
He'll walk up and walk over and sit. Yeah, sorry, I might be a little late. I didn't see you guys at first. I'm not used to crowded areas as much.
Oh, hey, it's all right. We've got plenty of time still. Thanks for coming. You see Greer sitting across the table from you. Yes, it's good to see you.
I'll give
So we just. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I was gonna give Greer a large smile and I'm glad we get some time to talk. I'd like to get to know you more on a personal level too.
God, you psychopath.
Eh,
Actually, you see Dees looks at you, looks at Greer, looks back at you, and smiles. So, I really appreciate you coming. I just wanted to make sure that, there is a full understanding of what the new job was going to be, working alongside you more closely in the management aspect of the meadery, Greer. And you see Greer says, yes, well, we were thinking that we could, have you focus a bit more on the, how do you say it? How would you say it? The formulation of new types of mead, and making sure that our research and development team stays on budget and in their area, in the areas that we think we could market new mead to. And the conversation devolves into basically just back and forth jabber about what the details of the job would be. I'm going to ask that you make a insight roll with advantage, flat, or with disadvantage, depending on how good you think Reznor can read the ins and outs of them discussing the duties of her position.
I would say Reznor. I would probably not great. I don't think Reznor's as interested in the ins and outs.
Okay.
So he's
what do you think
probably paying
Reznor is
attention, but
interested in this moment?
currently, like he's with Cocola's cousin, so he's trying to be supportive as well. Like he's trying to be a nice guy. He's also not being obvious, but he wants to kind of look around and see if he spots the other shifter that Greer gave me the picture of.
Okay. So what I'm going to say is you can make both of these checks flat, or you can make one at advantage and one at disadvantage. And I'm going to need a perception and an insight.
I'll go flat because I feel like that's probably he's trying to pay attention to both and also not be obvious, so he's probably not fully focused on either.
Okay. If you're not trying to be obvious, I need you to also make a deception. This is going to be a disadvantage.
Okay, so
Since
my
you think
insight.
the other two both flat.
Gotcha. Insight flat is a 14. Perception is a 17. And you said a deception?
Deception at disadvantage.
What is... 13 for deception.
Honestly, Reznor, 3 above average checks in a row there, all flat, is pretty good. They are both going to roll an insight against your deception. Greer will be rolling this with disadvantage because of his fear of you. And Dees will be rolling this with disadvantage because of her general anxiety about her new position in this discussion. All right. That's an 8 for Greer. And that is an 8 for Dees. Neither of them catches you looking around the room for anything else at all. And what you catch is someone spotting you across the room, across this fire. And you see them standing up and walking away. We're going to stop here for a moment. Coca-Cola, Jillian, what time do you guys plan on arriving? Your cousin asked you to be there by 9.
Probably Coca-Cola is the type of person that does not like to be late, because if you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. So probably a good 15, 20 minutes in advance.
All right. I'm going to say, Zen, do you think that after how insistent do you think Zenlin would be being about training tonight? Like, how long is he trying to go? with this
He's
ritual?
trying to go as long as she lets him. We're both elves and only need 4 hours of meditation.
Okay.
So as far as she'll push it tonight, and he might try and get her sigil code, but that feels very quick moving to ask for today.
Give me a perception check. Or not perception, persuasion check. All right, that's pretty good.
Yep.
She is going to teach you until about midnight.
Okay.
So, Resner, you notice this guy stand up to leave. You see another person stand up and move towards the front door. Where did I put him? Not standing next to him, but who is sitting near him. You see them cross his path. And Cola and Jillian, you are walking up. What we're going to do here is we're all going to roll initiative just to determine what order things go in from here. Those of us present at the meat hall.
Okay, that's a 15 for Resner.
A 15?
Yep.
All right. Cola and
I've got
Jillian,
4.
we're going to use Cola and Jillian. We're going to use the higher of you twos.
Jillian got a 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we'll go Coca-Cola and Jill. And then we'll go Resnor. And then we will go this leaving figure. Oh, actually. Yep. Coca-Cola and Jillian, you are walking up.
And Jilly and I also have +7 temporary hit points because of the enhanced ability that I had casted earlier. Lasts for an
All
hour.
right, wonderful.
Okay. Dog, you're obnoxious. Sorry if you hear the obnoxious slurping of Goose in the background.
All right.
So as we kind of approach, even though
Alright,
my
so
passive
wait.
is a 20. I'll roll a perception check to kind of look around as we kind of walk up. It's getting kind of late, and just kind of taking stock in who and what's around. And I've got a 19 on my roll.
You can see that the door to the meat hall is beginning to open from the inside. And you see your cousin Nordry, the eldest of your cousins, step out. Oh! Perfect timing. I was just coming out to wait for you.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to be here too, cousin. I thought it was just going to be Austri, but good to see you. And I'll give him like the dwarven forearm embrace kind of hug thing that they do. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, he pulls you in, does the forearm, the sort of predator handshake, and then hug, and then and then still holding on to your arm, he spins you around, picks you up, and sets you on his shoulders. Do you just go along with it?
Yeah, he's the oldest of my cousins. I assume it's probably something he's done in the past. Cocola's not a huge dwarf. She's kind of short.
This is something he's done since you were a child.
Yeah, she's small, right?
He was. Yeah, like Nordry's not like a young dwarf anymore. He's not even a young adult. He's just a grown ass man. He's like 150 years old almost.
Yeah. Much older than me. He's got 100 years on me. Close to.
Yeah. So he was a grown ass man when you were a child.
Children, yeah. When I was a children. Yeah,
he picks you up, sets you on his shoulders. Oh, and your friend is here with you. Jillian, right?
Yes. Hi. How you doing? Good to see you.
I'm quite well. And he, reaches down to shake your hand. Nordry's honestly pretty tall for a dwarf. He breaks 5'4", just barely.
Wow.
Stocky guy. There was you remember like a little bit of a town joke that, oh, maybe he's human-blooded. But yeah, he's a very gentle giant type of guy too. And he's going to begin to lead you inside.
I think Cocola's on the small side for a dwarf. She's like not even 4 foot. She's in the 3 foot range, probably closer to Jillian's size, and she's not as stout. She's more like lean and dexterous.
Yeah, Jillian's 310, I think. That's what I read.
Yeah.
With a beard.
Yeah.
With a beard.
That's right. The belt beard.
Oh yeah, for our viewers, Jillian woke up. Oh no, you didn't wake. You haven't woken up with the belt on yet, so you don't have a beard.
Oh, that's right.
Perfect.
Tomorrow.
I also sent in the back chat.
But yeah, he leads you in and begins.
Sorry, Chip. I was just telling them on above VTT. I sent the names in the chat for you guys of the cousins and such. If you wanted to add them to your notes.
You can also hover over them in above VTT to check their names. I think. Nope, I have them all set as don't show names to players. I lied. Ignore me.
Ignoring.
I'm a filthy liar who lies. But yeah, he begins to lead you down, and it seems like you're like heading towards one of the tables up by the front of the mead hall.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
You
just
are currently up underneath this top left dragon head. Or wyvern head, actually, if you would peer a bit more closely.
yeah, I think we'll just follow him. If Jillian's all right with it, we'll just follow him along to wherever he's taking us.
Cool. Reznor, you see a shifter walking into you see the shifter see you push back from the table, stand up, and begin to walk through a doorway. Not the exit, but one of the doorways into the kitchen here.
Hmm. I'm sorry. I'm assuming this side where I just pinged, where they walked through.
Yes, you can see them there. They're the person standing in the doorway.
Yep, it says shifter too. Would help if I hovered. Okay. Did they look at me, or did they just get up and move?
You don't think they saw you looking at them, but you saw them looking at you.
Okay.
And they spotted you and stood up to leave. And you don't think they caught that you were watching them do that.
Be awful rude for me to leave now, but Reznor's just gonna try and keep an eye out at the door to the kitchen. But he's gonna stay.
There's not an actual door there that they're walking through. It's like an open doorway.
Oh, okay.
But you see, if you just stay where you're at, you see them walk around the corner of that doorway and out of your sight. I'll say, since you didn't do anything, you can react to that now if you would like. You could have been like holding your turn. But they are out of your sight at this point.
Do I notice Jillian and Coca-Cola coming in?
What was your perception check? 15 or 17?
Yes. 15. Oh, that was my initiative, was 15. I haven't rolled a perception for them yet since they got in.
Not for them. Your perception earlier was a 17, correct?
Yes.
Or you're right, you haven't rolled a perception since they came in. Give me one more perception.
Ooh, 18.
18? Yeah, you spot them walking in, and you see that they're not that far from where your quarry has just turned the corner.
Reznor's gonna stay where he is. He's gonna watch the doorway, kind of out of like the corner of his eye type deal. He's still trying to be like he's in the conversation, even though he's not probably really giving a lot to the conversation. But out of the corner of his eye, he wants to watch the doorway.
Okay. Yeah, that's absolutely doable. Reznor, you set a watch on that part of the door and continue to... You got a 13 on your deception earlier, and they both got lower. Yeah, you're able to continue to pretend to be like focused on the conversation while they discuss. About another 5 minutes pass, and you see Mayor Brightfoot actually walks up. as Coca-Cola and Jillian make it up to the table where her family are sitting.
I'll obviously smile and wave at my right foot.
Yeah, he's walking straight up to your table. Oh, Reznor, how are you, my friend? And Ms. Irongut, Manager Greer. I just wanted to pop in because I'd heard that newest decision I'd signed off on was being discussed tonight. And yes, quite. I hope everything's being worked out just fine. Everyone's satisfied. And you see Deese and Greer both. Oh yeah. Nod. Give thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up, nod.
All right. Well, if anybody has any concerns or anything, you can always come talk to me about them. You know, even if I'm not in the office, open house. Feel free to stop by anytime. How are you settling into Revan, Reznor? Getting ready to go do any of that wyvern slaying that you're famous for?
Oh, we're settling in nicely. You know, getting to know more about Coca-Cola. Dis and Greer. Getting a nice little sit down, get to know. And I think I'll talk to the group and see what's going on. I met Fethric, so I might go, maybe see when his next hunt is. See if we can't get a little more done this time around with both of us.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, they were telling me at the office that you all finalized the purchase of Cornerstone. I'm very happy to hear it. I hope we see you settle in soon.
Oh yeah, everyone's just very nice here. I'm really happy to get to know everybody, and he'll give Mayor Brightfoot a smile, Dis a smile, and he's gonna give Greer a slightly larger smile.
Oh my god. The more Reznor smiles, the more I feel like it's a threat response rather than anything else at all times. But yeah, you smile at everybody, and you see the mayor returns your smile with honestly the exact same intensity. It's perfectly matching. Which is a little unnerving for Reznor. You know, most of the time you're smiling at people and they give you like slightly less energy back. This guy, you see why you're intimidating sometimes, and it's not just the claws and the teeth. Something about that level of joy in a world that's not an easy place to live in is scary.
We got a vibe check going.
Yeah. We move just across the room, just across to a now crowded table of 6, where we see Nordri, Ostri, Vestri, and just below it, talking to a familiar face for some of you. In fact, for all of you, we see Sudri.
And Greth, right? Greth is there? Yep, there he is, Greth.
Rick and Sudri speaking underneath the wyverns' heads, just below the table. But yeah, Jillian, Greth, Coca-Cola, Ostri, Vestri, and Nordri are all at the table.
There we go. Now we can see it a little better.
What would you like to do? And actually, I'm going to say, Coca-Cola, with your passive perception, you spot Reznor across the way over there.
Okay.
And you spot someone up at the head table. Zen, if you could scroll just a little bit further down for me. You see, sitting alone at the head table in his finery, Grandfather Irongut. But you sit here with your cousins, right where Nordri sets you down on the stool. So, Coca-Cola, we haven't all had a chance to get back together with you all at once in 30 years. How have you been?
Oh, well, I'm just growing like a weed.
Oh, yeah. Through
my
any stone
friends-
that you can find, right?
Yeah, pretty much. My friends and I just bought Cornerstone Tower. We'll be staying here in Revan a little bit longer than we initially had planned. But it's good to see you. Hey, give me just one moment. I'll be right back. And I will excuse myself and go make introduction with my grandfather, but not the sort of like informal introduction, but a formal offering him respect as the head of the table sort of introduction. Like the way you would in front of your Jarl or your king in Viking days, right? That sort of.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, is Coca-Cola giving the introduction she was taught by House Kundarak?
No, she would give the introduction that she was taught by her dad.
Alright, I'm going to say, since you haven't used that one in at least 20 years, since at least the last time you saw your grandfather in person, I need a history check with all of your dwarf application stuff. DC 12.
All right. So 19.
19? Awesome.
Yep.
Without a hitch, you walk up. Immediately you stand, look around town, recognize almost, if not by name, by face, everyone in this room. And recognize this is a gathering of heads of family. And of those families sworn to the Iron Guts.
Oh, like our bannermen.
Yeah, your bannermen, your vassals.
I could dig it.
And in this day and age, vassals and bannermen could also just be called tenants. You rent out most of the property around here. And these people aren't sworn to fight for you, necessarily, but they are sworn to not act against your house. And you see your grandfather, the only other person currently in the line of succession for the heirdom of the House Ironwood, sitting alone at the high table. And you see a table full of food. You know
So
what
I'll do
this
my.
is. Well,
I don't.
yeah, you do. Or Coca-Cola does at least. This is Coca-Cola's presentation, the final step in formalizing you as the heir to the Iron Gut family is to present you to their vassals and those who are sworn to them to the family.
Oh. Well, good thing we're still in the South. It's like a Southern debutante sort of thing. We're in the South part of the continent-ish. Makes sense.
And yeah, it is presenting you as the heir, that none may try to, it's basically the way they avoid will forgeries. It's no, you can't say that you're secretly the heir, because not, if you were the heir, everyone would have seen you at a big party.
I think after doing like the recollection of the greeting and so on, and realizing she's kind of like taken aback some because her cousin like invited her for a meeting, but she wasn't expecting this. So she's like a little shell shocked.
I think actually that's another piece of that historical information you get. You're not supposed to know ahead of time. It is you. The idea is that it catches you as you are, not as you have prepared yourself to be.
That's
and
fair.
that is what is being shown to all of these people who owe you their loyalty.
Look, in the game of meteries, you live or you die. And we're living.
Mm-hmm. So, you stand to go rise to greet your grandfather. And as you stand, all of these things that you were taught at a very young age that you thought wouldn't ever actually have an impact for you come flashing back to you.
I think she's on her best behavior. Probably something that Zenlin, Reznor haven't seen, and Jillian hasn't seen out of Coca-Cola for a very long time. It's a very like militaristic formality that she slips herself into, like in honor and in service sort of way. Does that make sense? I don't know if I English that right.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. Service and like honor and duty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. So, yeah, Coca-Cola, you move to the front of the room, and you notice that the music that comes from enchanted boards that have been nailed to the walls stops as you approach, and the room it happens bit by bit with every step you take. Conversation peters out and goes quiet, and your grandfather very slowly stands and rises to meet you on this upper platform at the high table.
Well met and Merry blessings, grandfather.
Well met, and many blessings to the heir of the Iron Gut family. And you see he looks out above the crowd as the central fire dims down a bit till it is almost embers. I give you Coca-Cola Iron Gut, my heir, and the next head of this family. A dwarf in truth, and a child of stone. Your grandfather sits, crowd remains silent as you turn back out to look at them. Is there
Yeah,
anything Cola would like to say?
Yes. One second, I'll tell you what it is. It's a little long-winded. I'm sorry.
You're good. I'm gonna actually then, while you get that prepared, go around to our other party members and see what their reaction is. Cola told you you're coming to chill with her family, and all of a sudden she's being like, everyone's making a big deal about it. Jill, how do you feel?
Jill is, I mean, she's really proud of her best friend. That she's being, recognized, and that she's got this responsibility, and she feels like she can do it. That she's got the strength and she's got the intelligence to succeed and take care of her family.
Awesome. Rez, how you feeling, bud? You just saw Coca-Cola become basically next in line for her family. She's just kind of fallen into the position there of next in line for leadership.
So Rezor kind of look up there, he'll like read the room, and try and like look around, and is like, do I clap my hands or not? And he's just gonna look, and if Coca-Cola looks over, he's just gonna smile and thumbs up.
Cool. And Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Speech.
She does like a formal sort of little bit of a bow and then stands straight back up and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and members of the Iron Gut family, today I stand before you with great humility and gratitude as I accept the honor of becoming heir to the Iron Gut family. It is with a deep sense of pride and responsibility that I embrace this role, and I am truly humbled by the trust and confidence placed in me by my family. I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to my ancestors whose legacy has paved the way for this moment. Their unwavering dedication to our dwarven heritage has shaped the very essence of our family, instilling us with a profound sense of loyalty, courage, and determination. As I accept my dwarven heritage, I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude and values it embodies. The Iron Gut family has always been known for its unwavering loyalty, and I am committed to upholding this tradition. I stand by my kin, my clan, and my kingdom, ready to defend and protect them with every fiber of my being. Courage has always been at the core of the Iron Gut family, and I am honored to carry this torch forward. I understand that true courage lies not in the absence of fear, but in the ability to face it head-on and overcome it with unwavering determination. I am ready to embrace the challenges that lie ahead, knowing that I have the strength and resilience of my ancestors guiding me. Accepting this role of the heir also comes with great responsibility. I am committed to preserving our traditions, passing down our knowledge, and ensuring that the future generations continue to honor our heritage. I will be a steward of our culture and protector of our people, and a guardian for our ancestral lands. In conclusion, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to each and every member of the Iron Gut family for their unwavering support and belief in me. Together, we will forge ahead, united in our commitment to our dwarven heritage. And I am honored to be a part of this esteemed family, and I promise to carry the legacy of our ancestors with pride and honor. Thank you, and may the spirit of our dwarven ancestors guide us forward on this noble journey."
All right, give me a performance check.
Ooh, performance.
This is going to be sliding scale DC. 10, you did fine. 15, you did pretty good. You can make it with advantage as well. We'll use the higher roll for... Or we'll just make it with advantage.
Okay.
Since there's
19.
a little more than half dwarves here. 19?
Yep, 19.
All right. Yeah, people don't seem displeased with anything you said. You can see that there's a lot of people. Your cousins all look very happy with you. They're all applauding and cheering. Greer's applauding politely. You think it was a pretty good speech. You just see that, like, some of the gnomes that are here look around like, yeah, well, she really was focused on dwarven heritage, huh? You know, she knows we're not. This is business mostly. You hear a couple mutters, but people for the most part seem like, yeah, cool. We like her. You've left a good impression.
Good. With a twinkle in my eye.
Reznor, what was your last perception check? 19, right?
18.
18. Okay. Do you think Reznor stayed focused on the door during that speech? Or on the doorway?
With it being Coca-Cola who was talking, Reznor probably lost focus on the door.
Alright. I'm going to ask you to make me another perception check. I'm going to say with disadvantage this time.
14.
Alright. On a 14, out of the corner of your eye, you catch that shifter walking out of the front door as Coca-Cola's speech ends. Like, you catch them, you see the door shutting behind them.
And this is like, are people still clapping, or has it all kind of like started to die down?
A couple of people are still clapping, but it's like towards the end of the applause.
Okay. So Reznor is gonna clap with everyone for a minute, and then he's gonna look to the people around him, like Greer and the berries. You're like, oh, I forgot it. I do have to step away for a few minutes. I apologize. I gotta step outside. I'll be back as soon as I can. I really apologize for this.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and measure this out here quick. Your movement is 40.
Yes.
All right. You're gonna be able to get there, get to the door at the end, or you're gonna be out to the area in about 12 to 15 seconds, out to the outside.
So
You think you'll be able to pick up a trail, likely, unless you want to sprint and like be jumping over the tables and this fire and stuff.
no, and I'll also say that before he goes, he's gonna put his big hand like supportively on Dis's shoulder real quick and be like, I apologize, you got this. You're gonna rock this. And he's gonna tap her on the shoulder, and he's gonna start heading to the outside.
Thank you. And I'm gonna say I'll count that as a help action for her, for whenever she wants it. She can hold on to that for a minute.
But yeah, as soon as he does that, he's gonna
You gave her an inspiration.
inspired. So you said I can make it to the door?
You make it about halfway there this round of actions, like on this set of actions. We're not quite in like 6-second round order, but you make it about halfway there. Jill, Coca-Cola, anything you want to do as Coca-Cola finishes up her speech? Coca-Cola, you know that you would be expected to just take a seat next to your grandfather here traditionally. And you would be allowed to invite others to join you up to fill the empty seats.
I would like politely excuse myself from my grandfather a moment to make it back to my table where everybody was. And, you know, do the whole "why didn't you fuckers tell me" sort of conversation. And then ask if any of them want to join me, because I really do want to talk to Austri, because there's some like questions that I wanted to ask at some point before the evening's over.
Yeah.
So I would invite any of them that wanted to join. I would expect that Jillian would come up and join as well.
Right. So you want to invite Jillian, any of your cousins that want to? Is there anyone else you would like to invite?
Well, what do we
You
got?
notice
Only
there
4
are
chairs.
three empty chairs.
Yeah, so I would invite Jillian for sure. So that would fill one. And I don't think I would put Austri and Greth on the spot like that, since, you know, they're just recently, you know, Austri quit the brewery and so on.
Engaged,
So yeah, I would allow them their space. So I would probably invite...
you know that Austri's disowning himself from the family essentially by taking Greth's name. He'll still be, you know, family. He just not formally.
Yeah, so I would invite
Same as what your
Nordry
father
and Vestry up.
Okay. Yeah, they both gladly join you. Where you want them to sit? Which seats are you putting them in?
Well, I'll just put Jill by me because it would be rude of me to put her anywhere else. I'll put Nordry next to grandfather on the other side, and then Vestry there. And I will make mention to Austri, like, you know, I would love to speak with you after. I would invite you up, but I would love for you and Greth to be able to be together here. You know, give the polite, informal, you know, way around it and say like, hey, you know, I love you, but I got to do this thing now, which you knew about because you're the one that invited me here.
Oh, and I should have said this earlier. I missed it. You did also see that at the end of your speech, Sutri and Thethric walked over to your table as well, if you wanted to ask either of them.
No, Thethric can stay where he's at. And I feel like Sudri is probably the one who don't have like the best relationship with. Like, I can't get along with all of my cousins. So I feel like Sudri would be the one that
Sudri
is like
Sudri's your shadiest cousin. Sudri's that cousin where everyone in the family's like, all right, if I need to do something a little shady, I talk to Sudri first.
Yeah, so that's that. He could stay over there with Fetheric.
Yeah. You notice they sit down with Greth and Austri. They seem to get along pretty well.
Cool.
And yeah, you're having a nice dinner. It's, you know, it's a little weird all being on the same side of the table and then having the other side empty, but you know, it gives you plenty of space to spread out and grab whatever you like. There is a feast being provided for everyone here that begins to be carried out of the kitchen. And Reznor, you make it to the front door.
Make it to the front door. So I would say I don't know, like, because I know Kakula's perception's high, but I know there's a lot going on. But once he's out of, I would say probably once he passes this final table, the like smile kind of drops as he's walking out the door.
Yeah.
You walk out the door, and you do not see
The shifter is not in your sight line.
I'm gonna try and track her.
Cool. Make me a survival check.
$16.
You see that her tracks very quickly. It looks like she opened this door, took one step out onto this like paved stone, and immediately walked over to the grass and sprinted through the woods towards town.
Oh well, now it's a hunt.
You can see the trail that's been. You can see the trail that's been kicked up behind her, where she like moved to all fours to sprint.
As soon as that door closes, Resnor's sprinting after once he notices.
Awesome. So your like full sprinting is 80 around, correct?
Yeah.
All right. You are not going to be able to catch up to her before you reach town. But you are able to follow the trail all the way back into town, where it dead ends at one of the almost apartment complex like buildings that pushes up against the woods. Does Resnor have a scent feature?
No, Resnor does not.
Alright, I will just need you to make another survival check. That's going to be opposed by another stealth check to hide the tracks. That's not very good. She does add a good chunk to this, but that is only a 6 on the die.
That is a natural 20 from Res for 26.
Right, Resnor with a natural 20. There's obvious mud tracks from her sprinting through the woods. This is the easiest thing in the world to spot. You can see exactly which room she's gone to.
Resnor's gonna walk up to the door and he's gonna knock.
You knock. There is no response. You know she's in there. You can hear her breathing. And it sounds like a deer that's been caught and pinned up against a wall. But there is no way. The door does not open. And there is no response.
How thick is the door?
This is just a shitty little worker's apartment, my guy. It's just a piece of real thin wood. Thinner than most tables. You can hear her breathing through it. Can't be that thick.
So Resnor's gonna tap on the door with his finger, and he's just gonna say, "It's gonna be a lot easier if you just have a conversation with me."
And you hear someone start to yell from within the room.
It's not a great situation for us. Resnor's gonna loudly say, "Don't worry, I'm coming to help," and he's gonna try and break the door down.
Cool. You just punching it? You using your axe? What you doing?
Oh, he's using his shoulder.
Shoulder? Alright, cool. Just give me an athletics check, DC 12.
15.
Alright, 15. You put your shoulder into this door, and you don't break the door itself, but you bust the hinge and break through. And you see a shifted a shifted shifter, a swift stride shifter, huddled into a corner of her almost empty, bare room. You see there's a cot here, a small pack. Honestly, calling it a pack and not a bindle is an exaggeration. And a few days worth of rations and a water skin pushed up against the wall. And she is huddled up in the corner, holding what looks like the broken off leg of a chair between her and you, shaking. And you can see that almost moan-like scream that was coming from in here is coming from her. And you see the reason she didn't respond to anything you said or give a name when her paperwork was done is because so been yelling, you see no tongue in there. Just a flailing little stump where one was before it was cut out. And on the end of that stump, you see a brand, a mark almost too familiar to you. You see it every day. Jill's got a nice little necklace with it. You see a mark of the sovereign host next to a mark of the silver flame.
So once
You're shaking, Resnor. You know what that means. This is someone who is caught in one of the lycanthropic purges and punished for their being.
So Resnor's gonna try and straighten the door a little bit, and then he's gonna show the palms of his hands, and he's gonna be like, "I'm not here to hurt you." And he's gonna
show the
slowly
palms of
approach.
your hands. You lean the door back up against where it belongs and show the palm of your hands. Say, "I'm not here to hurt you." And approach. And we're going to cut back to the meat hall. Jillian and Coca-Cola, you are celebrating here. Is there, and you see that things are beginning to sort of wind down in the terms of how formal it is, and people are beginning to mill about and chit chat with each other. Is there anyone in this room you want to go talk to?
Is
Pick a
grandfather
token, any token if you'd
particularly
like.
happy at all? Or no?
You actually see your grandfather, once things get a bit more informal, leans over. Kakula, darling, now that my part's done, I think I'm gonna head home and rest for the night.
Oh, okay. Do you need somebody who would walk home with you? Not that you're not capable, just so you don't have to go by yourself.
I was going to ask Mayor Brightfoot if he'd walk with me.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll probably be back later this evening. You know, we bought the tower, so we're gonna end up eventually moving over to the tower. But I didn't want to just, leave you worried that we didn't come back or whatever.
Well, congratulations. I didn't realize you were ready to buy it today. Oh, congrats. I'm very happy for you. I'm very proud of you. Quite a big day for you, huh?
Yeah, it's been a lot. I wasn't expecting this, but thank you, really. Thanks, Grandpa.
Thank you
Now
for
give him a
being
big
here to do it.
hug thing.
Yeah, he pulls you in and hugs you back tightly. I'm so proud of you, Kukola.
Thanks. That means a lot.
And you see he walks over to Mayor Brightfoot, who's chit-chatting with your cousin, Deese and Greer. And you see that Deese and Greer seem to be getting along pretty well, actually. And you notice that Resnor's not with them anymore.
Resnor gonna Resnor. He probably went out to find a bush.
Probably. But yeah, you just continue partying?
Well, after grandfather leaves, I think since that kind of signifies the end of formality for Coca-Cola, then she would probably be, have Jill and the other two hey, you guys could stay up here if you want, but I'm gonna go back to the table where everybody was and kind of mix and mingle in a less eyes on me situation.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, I'll stay up here in case anyone wants to address the family, Nordry says.
Sure, that's fine. I don't mind at all, really. You're much older and wiser than I am.
Oh, if you need an advisor, then I'd be happy to, but I don't think I could do the job full time.
I might take you up on that offer, actually. I'll keep that in mind.
And you see that he motions to Vestry. Why don't you go with Coca-Cola? Jillian, would you mind keeping me company for a bit? This is coming from Nordry.
Definitely, yeah. She'd grab her glass of mead and hang out with Nedry.
All right. And he's actually going to begin talking to you on some of the more philosophical and honestly the more arcane points of the theology of the sovereign host.
Okay.
He's Nordry is also a cleric of the sovereign host.
Oh, right on.
And he's gonna he's got quite a few years of experience working as a cleric, so he tries to hear your wisdom and impart some of his back to you is what he's going to be doing right now.
Okay.
Coca-Cola, you want to talk to your cousins?
Yeah, mostly Austri, but I'll kind of keep it since Frederick is there. I'll kind of keep it more relaxed. I won't bring up any of the questions that I had pertaining to family, but I will mention to Austri and to what's Greth? I think it's Greth. Yeah, Greth.
Yes.
Specifically that hey, so I haven't seen your mother in a long time. I was thinking of writing a letter to see if she's able to receive company. Would you like to join us when we go visit her?
Oh, well, that's yeah. I mean, we'd have to. I love the idea. I can't promise that I'm able to make it work until I know what the timing is, but I want to make it work.
Well, I just figured it would give us more time to spend together before you go and get married, and then I could get to know Greth a little bit better. But it'd also be a good time for you to introduce your mom to Greth if you wanted to, and then you wouldn't have to do it alone.
You see, he's very touched. That's so thoughtful. Yes, you know what? It's not just an I want to make it work. I'm going to make this work, Kula.
Well, just
Yes,
let me know.
I'd love to travel with you to go visit my mother.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to write her a letter and get it in the mail tomorrow to see if she's even. I know grandfather had mentioned her health had kind of gone downhill some. So I want to make sure that she's up to receiving guests. And then when the letter comes back that she is, then we'll make plans to go. And then it'll give you time to kind of figure it out. We can work around your schedule because, ours is a little bit more flexible. We're not on hard standing hours here at the meadery, and owning our own business kind of gives us the chance to make our own schedule. So just kind of let me know what works, and we can probably work it all together with each other.
That sounds. Yeah, we'll make it work. We'll talk.
Perfect.
Thank you, cousin.
And that will give me a chance to kind of discuss business with you as well, like while we're traveling, because I've got a few futuristic business inquiries I would like to inquire about Greth's family, working with Greth's family a little bit.
Oh, yes, definitely. We can. Yeah, I'll see if. I know his mother's here somewhere. We could pull her over so we could all talk business. Since.
Yes, but in the future, not tonight. Tonight is a chance for us to spend together.
You know what? It's a night for celebration.
Yeah. But
it's a night for celebration of what we have, not planning for what we will.
Correct. Hear, hear. Cheers, or whatever folks do at parties.
And yeah. So we'll cut from there over to the little arcane sanctum at the bookstore. It is nearing midnight, Zenlin, as you are being shown a ritual of minor binding. She has conjured a tiny elemental, hardly worth being called such, just a spark of lightning that dances around the room on its own. And you are being shown how to bind it. The elements for this ritual that you have with you are a crystalline structure with which to hold the spirit. In this case, a glass jar is what you are using for, the ritual you hope to one day use. You will be using your dragon shard.
Right.
Sachets of basil and mint to weaken and purify the spirit. And of course, fire with which to cleanse and bind the spirits and souls.
So what I'm going to have you do is make a Arcana check for me. You need to hit, in order to bind this thing, a DC 15, since it is a minor spirit.
Okay.
You may roll one more d20 for every level of spell slot you burn. So if you burn one level 1,
Okay.
roll one extra d20. You burn a level 2, you roll 2 extra. Burn a level 3, 3, so on and so forth.
Okay. So it's kind of like roll until you get it, and that's how much spell energy you spent doing it.
No, you have to pre-burn the spell.
Oh. Well, it
So it
doesn't
is-
matter because we got a 21 on the first go.
So you burn those spell slots, or I'm sorry, I misspoke. It is the level of spell slot you burn is how many dice you have total. So
Oh,
one
okay.
roll.
I probably would have done a second just to have a second roll. So
I'm going to
I'll
say
mark
for the
that.
purpose. I'm going to say for the purpose of binding this minor elemental, you don't have to actually burn a spell slot.
Okay.
Just because this isn't a decision you're making. This is me having you learn something.
Okay.
It takes 1 minute to do this. You have to concentrate on it as though it was a spell. You do not have to spend your action every round to do so. And your DC is going to be higher the more powerful the thing you are trying to bind is.
Cool.
But this elven mage, who you have since learned is named Ilethri.
Ilethri.
Ilethry. Says, I believe the time grows late, and I would like to spend tonight's witching hour on my own activities. If you would care to learn more, you may return in 2 days' time at closing, and I shall teach you once more.
Okay. We were maybe going to be going camping for a few days. Is it all right if maybe I check in during normal business hours when we get back, if that happens?
Yeah, sounds good. And I'll have a pricing plan laid out for you then too.
Thank you, Miss Ilethri. I can't explain how much this means to me. And he'll turn to leave on that. I mean, he'll give like a little bow and then head out.
Would you like me to understand how much this means to you?
What? I don't want to take up any more of your time if you have plans.
It'll just take a moment, and she's going to. You see her casting a spell. Don't resist. And you feel something poke at your head. Like, not physically. She's requesting access to your mind.
He'll allow it.
Alright. You feel something gain access. Just something in your mind. As she looks you in the eyes. What does this mean to you? Just one word. Think of a one-word answer.
I think that word is complete.
Yeah. Oh. It means everything, doesn't it?
They'll see that they were wrong.
Yes. I'm sure they will. And she drops the spell, very satisfied with whatever she saw while that detect thoughts was up. Be on
Thank
your
you
way.
again.
Oh, and
And then-
for the road, and she hands you enough of the components of this ritual that she just had you do that you could theoretically complete it 3 times.
Thank you again, man.
You're welcome. Where's Sunland heading? It's about 11:30, 11:45.
Does Zenlin realize how close he is to the tower?
Yeah. You walk out of the back door and you're looking at the tower here.
I think with it being this late, Zenlin is not walking out to the farm alone.
Okay.
So he's just gonna go to his room in the tower and meditate
Cool.
and rest there.
Cool. You try the door. It's locked.
I believe
Rez
Zenlin
took
had
all
one of the keys, didn't he?
Oh, I thought Rez took one of the keys. And
Oh,
then you had
if-
to have Cole lock the door behind you.
That's okay, because the door is locked, so I can levitate up to the hole and go in that way.
Yes,
because
you
the
can.
door is locked and I'm safe.
There you go. Alright, go ahead and just make sure you mark that spell slot off for me.
Yep. If I'm not mistaken, that's actually burning a 3rd level because I'm out of seconds.
Oof.
We're sleeping.
Reznor.
Reznor.
You know where you are. You are in this woman's apartment, having just said that you're not going to hurt her. As you stand over her, you can see just the slightest hint of antlers forming at her forehead and poking out. Over pale white skin, hair, eyes. This woman is terrified of you.
So Reznor's gonna
Does-
like
I'm going to say you can see without a roll that she does not understand the words you are speaking to her. She is too far in. You can see a kindred spirit, someone who is grasped by the beast within them too much to see the world as a sentient humanoid would. But her beast is prey. And she is afraid. And you are in her den.
hmm. Well then. So so it's a really barren room. Do I see any paper or anything?
You don't see any. You do not see anything, even like minor objects beyond that which I listed. That is all that is within this room. You don't even see a pouch for coin. You don't see any weaponry.
Reznor's gonna keep showing the palms, and he's gonna sit down for a second, and in the floor in front of him, he's gonna carve kind of like a shifter, and the shifter he's gonna carve his name and see if he responds at all.
You carve your name marking, and you see. Give me a persuasion check.
Golden Retriever. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
Yes.
Yeah, she reaches out and makes a mark of her own on the floor. And you see it's the same one that was at the top of her employment file.
Reznor's gonna try and make a marking that kind of says like safe.
Yeah, you make a marking for safe land. She draws one that marks a den. Then then scratches your safety out. Quickly followed by scratching out the mark for den. And points at you. Would you like to try to solve this with the player's wisdom or the characters?
I think I understand. So I'm going to trying to figure out how to word this. This is tough. It's tough to think about. I'm gonna try and mark in kind of just say questions basically and point to myself.
Okay. I'm gonna say what you do is you put a mark for the unknown, unexplored, and then point to yourself. Hoping to get that connotations of questions across, and with that high persuasion check you do. You're saying you have questions for her, correct?
Yes.
She leaves the mark of a fulfilled hunt, and a mark for negatives. She does not have answers for you. She does not think.
I am going to leave the mark of what I'm gonna try and leave the mark for Nora Red Spring, the name I got from Greer.
Okay. You do not. She didn't. I'm gonna say you do not have a mark for her. You do not have a personal mark for her. unless you want to leave a mark of someone who you think she might be. You do. There is a personal mark, a name mark that you know very well.
I'm going to leave the mark for Roaring Stonetooth.
You take your paw in this dusty floor, carve the mark of the first claw. She looks down at it, looks back up at you. And every one of you, Jillian, Zenlin, Kokola, and Reznor, begin to hear a siren blare out from the center of town.
Wyvern time.
And that's where we're going to end this session.
Time to live up to the namesake.
All right.
Oh no.
Thank you for joining us this week in Heroes and Hooligans with episode 18 of Gilded Destinies. Does anybody have anything they want to plug tonight? No?
Nope.
All right. Let's see. Is anybody live for a raid?
I don't know. Let me look. No.
No. All right. In that case, we have been Heroes and Hooligans, and we will see you next week. Hopefully Monday for Delirium episode
Something.
5.5.
Yeah, episode something.
Catch you. Episode something. Catch you guys next week. Bye bye.